Well, hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of Face2Face. My name's Rob Howden. That is, of course, David Cole joining me here live, of course, on the EKN YouTube channel and on our Facebook page as well. David back at it with another one of our Face2Faces. This one focused at an event that I haven't been to in 24 years, I think, 25 years maybe. An event that I want to go back to, but the schedule just never plays for me to be able to go there. I've talked to the promoter many times to announce it, to drive at it. I just haven't had a chance to get it done again. Of course, we're talking about the park. If you've been in the sport for a number of years, you know what the park is. The Quincy Grand Prix event, an amazing street race, park-setting race that'll take place this coming June. The promoter Terry Trader joining us here as well, along with Keith Freeber from Margay. We have a couple of race winners from the past coming to join us as well, Jeremiah Davis and Devin Smith-Harden. It's a great event, David. I don't think you've ever even been there, have you?
I've not. Again, scheduling has been the negative on that part. Again, you got family and sporting events, and then also karting events as well too, that have kind of kept me away from there. And especially this year now, I'll be in Utah. You'll be in Road America. Again, it's just racing is just so big right now. There's just so many different events going on. And unfortunately, you do have the unfortunate scheduling conflicts and it saddens us to be on the Quincy Grand Prix. But again, it continues to grow and grow since being reborn in 2018. Yeah, COVID kind of put a kibosh on it in 2020, but it came right back with even bigger numbers than from 2019. So again, it's another growing event. It's unlike any other event that you will go to, period, point blank.
Yeah, and I would say that when you look at the history of the sport, and let's just look at the races that are still going on right now, it really is one of the most iconic races, right? Like, what races do we have? Actual annual races that are around that much right now? Quincy Grand Prix, Rock Island, and probably the Super Nationals. That's really about it. And then you throw Daytona Kart Weekend.
I was to say Daytona Kart Week. That's been going on since 1974, and this started even before then, if I recall, or around that time. I can't remember the actual, can't remember the actual year. I want to say it was around that time, but it went up until year 2000, 2001, and that's when it kind of took a hiatus. Obviously the sport was a lot different at that time, and now the sport's different than that period in time. There's a lot of people, grassroots racers, who just love to go race, no matter where, if it's a parking lot, if it's a road course, if it's in a park itself. Again, they just love going racing. And again, when you bring in spectators, again, that's one of the big keys I think that this event brings that no other event does, is the amount of spectators it has, and obviously the uniqueness of the racetrack.
Yeah, it's in South Park in Quincy, Illinois. Elevation changes, a really challenging track. 15,000 spectators annually. Everybody rolling in, having a good time. They got the lawn chairs, they got the blankets laid out, they've got the VIP. There's beer gardens. It's unlike anything else we really have in the sport right now in terms of the location, David, and the event all told, the Quincy Grand Prix.
Yeah, and again, it's based in the Midwest. Quincy is synonymous with karting going back to the 60s with TNT Kartways and a lot of the number, like some of the old karting events that you saw televised are actually at that racetrack. And again, the park is kind of the highlight of what goes on around karting with the Quincy area. And again, it's just we can ask Keith, we can ask Terry, we can ask Jeremiah, and obviously Devin Smith-Harden, who's going to join us, what one key element, makes them go there every year. And it's probably going to be different, but you blend that all together, and that's what brings you to the Quincy Grand Prix.
And we can't really talk about the Quincy Grand Prix without talking about one of the absolute legends of our sport, and that was Gus Trader, Terry's dad, who was a guy that wanted to make karting the show. Like, it reminds me of kind of a Jim Murley thing, right? Where he realized that karting was a show in and of itself. Had the PKA, Professional Karting Association, money races, street races. That's what Gus took the sport to the people. And I think that's one of the big things about Quincy. Of course, that home race just across the Mississippi River is TNT Kartways. Again, one of the legendary tracks in our sport, American karting. That was the home race. The park race was the home race. And when it came back, as you said, David, it's just like did my heart good when I heard that the race was coming back. And then a new generation of people we're going to be able to enjoy what is truly one of the most iconic races we have in the sport.
Yeah, that's exactly it. People who have never been there, including myself, are anticipating and wanting to go there. And again, it's a bucket list event.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, let's bring Terry Trader in. Let's bring the promoter in.
All right.
We got to talk about the event because he's got lots going on. Terry, dude, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Face to Face.
Glad to be here, guys. And you did a great job of telling people about what the park was all about, the historical parts of this thing. And so, yeah, in 18, it was 17 years since
Wow.
Gus's last one, which was 2001. And, there was various things that went into it. The track had gotten rough and people had really basically stopped coming to the event. And, maybe after a period of time, everything has its day. And 32 years, I mean, I really, after doing it this is my fourth year, I can't believe Gus did it for 32. It
Right.
is a lot of work, a lot of organization, a lot of fundraising. Basically, we've raised $91,000 from the local sponsors, local people, businesses, manufacturing people. They really want to see stuff like this happen in Quincy. Quincy's kind of a unique place. When you come to Quincy, the Carter is a big deal. Okay, you're not like going to a lot of places where they don't even know what it is. They ask you if there's air in those tires and all that kind of stuff, But here you're really a star. And the guys that you're going to interview later, they will tell you that. There's banners up all over the town, welcome Carters, and the restaurants welcome them, and the hotels. So yeah, and Quincy's just a great place for it. And of course, with the park, as you guys have talked about, it's the most unique track probably in the world. I don't know. I mean, I've not seen anything like it. The elevation changes and the beauty of it with all the trees and the grass and things, and to get a park district, a governmental body, to turn that over to us basically for a week, because we have to start preparing this thing starting on Monday before the race with all, we have 1,200 barriers, we have 850 tires, we fenced the track inside and out. And, we have to get the people together. We got 25 major officials. We got 40 plus flagmen that have to be there Saturday and Sunday and stand out in the heat all day long. We bring in some of the great officials from the country. Randy Kugler is our announcer. And of course, Jay Burgess is our flagman, Jason. And, he's such a colorful dude,
No doubt.
And we've got TJ Halsmith that's doing our timing for us and our scoring. So we've tried to put together a great crew. And then I've got some great local people like the Miles family, JT and Jeff, that set up the track and do a lot of work for that. But, you think of all the stuff, like you talked about the beer garden. We have to get a city liquor license. We have to get a state liquor license. We have to get dram shop insurance. And you have, all those details. And then I've got a couple of young men that are like close to 40 years old, but they love this thing. And they put on the Gus VIP tent. So we've got a 40 by 80 tent with bleachers by it and the free food and beverage. And, we charge like $75 a ticket, but that's for both days. You get preferred parking, luxury bathrooms, and, the best seat in the house at the start finish line. So yeah, that's, those are in the deal. What we've built it as is an event. It's not a go-kart race.
That's it. Yeah.
I would almost say it's more of an experience. Again, that's what a lot of people are trying to invest. And I think over the last couple of years, that's what we're seeing with karting itself, is people are trying to get an experience by being part of the sport. But I think when you talk about Quincy Grand Prix, it's not only for the drivers and team members and shops and all of them, but it's also for the spectators themselves. As you said, you have a really good bond with the community there, and obviously the business industries surrounding the Quincy area.
Yeah, and we have, in reality, the whole thing is free to the public, and I think that's kind of unique because, if you want to go to the Gus VIP tent, yeah, it's going to cost you some money, but really, the main part of this whole thing is all free to the public, free to anybody that goes in there. They bring their tents, their lawn chairs you were mentioning, their coolers. Their coolers and and they just camp out and they spend a day in a beautiful park and watch the drivers. And we get some excellent drivers coming there, great racing. This year we've really done some stuff to try to make it safer again the start finish corner, the last corner before the start finish line, we're everybody is jockeying for position to win the thing. We've actually put a race curb in there. We got approval from the park district. So we went in and dug the whole like square curve out and put a regular, like a track curb in for us. So, I mean, usually people will scream about anything that you do to a park, but because it's such a big event for the community, they're okay with it, So,
I saw that on Facebook today. I went, man, that is really cool. That's like in the last corner, perfect.
Well, we had like a couple drivers that when they were jockeying for position, they kind of scared me because they got ejected from the cart, slid across the start finish line, and they didn't get hit or anything. But that's the danger if you get ejected from the cart, that you're laying in the track. So I have to make it safer. And like I said, my big goal through the whole weekend is we have good weather, nobody gets hurt. That's what I want, and I want everybody to have fun. And we had a lot of entries last year. We had 343.
Wow.
If I can go 344, I'll be happy. We'll see. Carters have a tendency to wait until the last minute to register. It's really hard on a promoter. We can't make you do it. We can raise all the money for the business people and all that kind of stuff, but we need their entries as part of the revenue to break even with this deal. If we do make a little money, we donate it to we're a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and we'll donate it to other nonprofits in the community. So it's a good deal, and we really have worked hard to give it the classy type of thing. When you come in, you guys haven't been there like you talked about. We've tried to get you there, but we've got all kinds of scissor flags flying, and music playing, and we're trying to make it like a Formula One or IndyCar race is what my goal is of karting, of course.
I love it. That's amazing. Anything new for this year, Terry, we should talk about, or is it just kind of fine tuning what you've done over the last couple of years? I know you've been focused on raising the level of the safety for the event. That's always something was in question from days gone by. There was open curbing, whatever. I know you guys have really raised the bar. Anything new for this year?
It's something else we've done. We've expanded the corner, and we had a corner that was kind of, I don't know why, because we had not had problems with it before, but we had a lot of crashes in this one corner, and the park district brought in a bunch of dirt, and we've expanded the corner so it gives people more racing room. Okay, so great. We had two major improvements, I think, to the track. In the track, it's pretty wide, and good racing room. So it really is a lot up to the driver. And I have to talk to a lot of guys because they go out in the practice, and I keep telling them this, guys, there's no trophies for practice.
I know it doesn't.
Don't go tear your stuff up right away, So I'm going to try to emphasize that more and try to, the rookie, what I call rookie drivers, maybe they're not rookies, but they've never been to the park before. I'm going to walk them around the track. I'm going to show them the different stuff. And, I think, once we get into the racing, there's really not a lot of problem. It's usually right at the beginning when people are trying to, they're all fired up and they're gonna tear it up in practice, and they spin out, they hit a barrier or whatever. But anyway, we've been real lucky, and I think it hasn't really been horrible that way. But like I said again, we cannot have a major injury because that would probably be the end of the race. We got WK insurance, and it hasn't been drawn on in 3 years, which is great. And so we do get when we do the pre-race ceremonies, we got the mayor there, we got the national anthem being sung, we got all the stuff that we try to make it as glitzy as possible.
I love it. Just we haven't brought it up. It's actually June the 11th and 12th this year, correct? Let's get the date out there for everyone as well.
Yeah, right. The historical thing has been second weekend in June. Last year we made it the first weekend because I was trying to work with some other promoters on the trying to make sure that we could not be on top of each other. Well, this year I had to set it. There's no way to change it. When I found out Scoos had scheduled the race in Utah, I hated it, but there's nothing I could do about it. We had to have it on that weekend, but we hope that some of the promoters have been very great about not scheduling on the park, because it's a lot of people do like to run it, and they like to run it every year. And then there's some people that do it one or two times, and then they're done with it. And it's kind of developed. We're trying to develop more 2-cycle type drivers to come to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, so far, and again, Briggs is a good sponsor too. It's basically been a 4-cycle race. We had of the 343, we had 275 4 cycles and 75 of the shifter KA100s, that kind of stuff. So we're trying to build on that end. And they do run pretty fast on the track. I mean, last year shifter hit 96 miles an hour and turned the track in under a minute, which was that's moving. 1.2 miles. That's getting along pretty good. So, but it's fun, and the spectators love the shifters. They love to watch them, and it's a big thing when they line up and and they take off. They do love that thing. So, we want to continue to try to build that part of it as well.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for 2022 include the Ignite Majors, featuring events at the Daytona International Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Quincy Grand Prix, Newcastle Motorsports Park, and the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the 5-round regionally based Ignite Challenge at tracks in Illinois, Ohio, and Missouri. Local club programs have also been established in other states like Idaho, Texas, Nebraska, New York, Florida, and more. Join Margay Racing for some fast, fun, and great memories at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Powered by technology, DID racing chains have a worldwide reputation for superior quality and reliability. Meticulously engineered and manufactured in Japan, DID Genuine Parts are the world's #1 original parts supplier for Japanese and European motorcycle manufacturers. A rich racing tradition where results speak for themselves, DID prides itself on engineering the most technologically advanced chains on the market to help you excel on and off the track. DID's SDH pin treatment creates an extremely hard chromium carbide layer on the pin surface that houses a soft inner core to absorb extreme shock loads. DID's 219 HTZ racing chain boasts this SDH pin technology, which leads to longer chain life as well as excellent energy transmission to the wheels. Available in the gorgeous gold, the 219 HTZ is the ultimate racing kart chain. Pick up a DID chain at your local dealer today, because when winning is the only thing that matters, go with DID. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Well, let's bring in somebody who I know loves this race as well. The guy that dragged me there back in 1997, I believe it was, when he said you have to come to the park. Let's bring in Keith Freeber from Margay. Margay's obviously played a huge role in the park race. Keith, remember that? I think I was working for National Kart News back in the day. You said, if you're going to come down here, you've got to go to the park. So I flew to St. Louis, went to the park, had too much to drink on Saturday night.
Hard to believe.
And Sunday morning, Darren Rudolph had an engine. I had Dan Schmalzoff go-kart, and I ended up driving in Yamaha pipe. I think I finished 12th.
And that was amazing. I mean, it was unbelievable that very little practice. I think we had more practice in the bar than we did at the track.
We did, yeah.
And at the time, Yamaha pipe, like Yamaha pipe medium, whatever you ran, there's probably 50 go-karts in the class.
Yeah, I started last. I know that.
Started last and worked your way up to 12th, and you were my hero that day for sure. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, talk about your experience in the park. You guys keep going back. Margay is obviously a huge part of it now. The Ignite program, it's one of your majors. It's obviously the Ignite program has grown so much. The park is a big part of it, part of the kind of DNA of it. But for you, what does the park mean? Because you've been there for so many years.
Well, it goes beyond the park, really. It's all about Quincy and the Trader family. There's two names right there that are really synonymous with karting. And a lot of the current generation really don't realize the importance and the role that Quincy and Gus and Terry Trader and their entire family has played in the development of the sport over the years. This is almost 60 years ago. This guy here, that guy over there, that's Terry in 1961 at the grand opening of TNT Kartways.
Wow.
And so TNT Kartways was built by Terry's father, Gus. And Gus was a great showman, a great promoter, a great salesman, and just a legend in the sport. And did so much for karting over the years. And again, so many of today's karters don't understand the importance of Quincy and the role that Quincy and the Trader family has played. They have been hosting fantastic championship events in Quincy for 60 years. And they've done that because they do such a good job at running class events. You guys mentioned the word class and classy before. Yeah. Gus and Terry know that it's not a race without the racers. And if you don't have the racers there, and if you don't take care of the racers, show them a good time, treat them like the customers and enthusiasts that they are, they're not coming back. And so Gus was always very good at taking care of the racers. Of course, there was occasionally somebody that didn't see it Gus's way exactly, and Gus would tell him what he thought about that and point to the highway right out front. But he ran a great show, and he took care of the people that supported his events. And Terry has done so much of the same and done so much for karting. And in the town of Quincy itself, Quincy is really the one city, the one name that spans literally 6 decades of karting. There's no other name, there's no other city in the U.S. that has been so relevant to karting over 6 decades. So for me, I started going to Quincy in the early 70s, became very attached to the town, and the Trader family is like a second family to me. I'm very fortunate that they've always taken such good care of my family. But it's just really exciting to go to an event and in a city where the city wants the karters there, right?
Yeah.
We're not out 10 miles away from downtown in some field somewhere or whatever. We are right in the middle of things. You roll into town and there's a banner stretched across the road that says "Welcome Karters."
Welcome Karters.
When's the last time that you've seen that? And the businesses there are very supportive. They love having us there. And the park itself, so that's what makes Quincy special and the Trader family so special to karting. But the park goes one step beyond all of that. All of us here have been to kart tracks all over the country, all over the world. And there's nothing like this track. There is nothing like it anywhere. I don't care what anybody tells you. There is nothing like this track. It is the most unique karting venue you will ever see, you will ever race on. And it's really our Indy 500. It's not an oval, but it is our big event. And Terry and his staff treat the karters like it's our big event. And the town really comes out for it. Rob and Devin and I are, we're all lucky enough to be hanging around the Speedway a little bit during the month of May. Yeah. And it's amazing how well presented the Speedway is, right? There's not a piece of trash anywhere. Every blade of grass is manicured by hand. I think they have people that go out there. And
let's not talk about that because that's a sore subject.
Right. That's a very good point, David.
Some kart tires have manicured that grass.
Yeah, and some RV tires. But yeah,
sure.
So,
Rob has. I have.
I've been 4 wheels off there.
Yeah.
But when you get to when you roll up to the park, it blows me away what Terry's done. with the reincarnation of this event. You know, when you roll up there, you know you're at something special, and all the flags and all the, I mean, it's just, it's an event. It's not a go-kart race. It's an event. You know? And we don't have many of those. There's very few of those in karting, and that's what makes this event so special. And I know it's a massive amount of work, and I feel a little bit guilty because I feel like I sort of roped Terry into this deal a little bit. And
I do have to credit Keith with, for years, saying, "Are you going to watch bring the park back? Watch bring the park back." All
right.
Finally, the park district director, they repaved the surface, and the park district director, he said, "Hey, would you like to bring the race back?" And I go, "Oh my God, I don't know, man. It's really a lot of work." And I asked Keith, and he goes, "Oh yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it." And then I went to another, like a charity event, and this one fellow leaned over and he said, in my ear, he says, "If you bring the kart race back, I'll give you $5,000 right now."
Yeah, they're in.
Wow, here we go.
So anyway, off we went to the races, literally. And, it's really neat, though, to see the involvement in the whole community. I mean, I'm talking about all the political people and everything. Everybody knows about it, and it's just a cool deal. And I just would wish that people could come and experience it and have a great time and enjoy it, see what Quincy's all about. And, I think that, you raced before, 15 or 20,000 spectators. That's pretty cool, It
is. And listen, isn't it awesome? Isn't it awesome that
Nevin did it? We put him in the back of the truck, and we got the T-shirt cannon shooting into the crowd with T-shirts. And, we got the Budweiser distributor all involved with this thing. And I mean, it's like I said, it's a cool deal, and people should try and do it. And I hope they do, because, I need the racers to come. I need spectators to come. I need both those things, because I need spectators to prove to the sponsors it was worth their money, and we need the karters. Now, I've kept the entry fee down. I mean, if you compare what our entry fees are, $125. I mean, in today's world, that's a bargain.
Oh yeah. And you also get a shot at winning one of these dudes here.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the Gussie. Obviously, we talked about Gus Trader, everything he did for the sport. This was a cool addition, Terry, to really honor Gus. And there's obviously the Duffy. This is the Gussie for Gus. This is what a great trophy to add to the, really the platform that is karting in our sport.
Yeah, and there's only, we number each one of them. Keith, turn the bottom up. Everyone's got a number on it. So, and I know where each one is. And
I'm afraid he's going to come get this one at some point.
I was just saying, who won that one? Because I know you didn't win a race, did you?
I did not win.
Gentlemen, no. There is a thing called honorary Gussies. They've got a few. Scott Pruitt's got one. He's got Gussie number 1, by the way. Scott Pruitt does, and Keith's got one. I happen to have one. Jeff Miles, who's done so much for karting around Quincy, has got one. But I'm really selective, and I got a special guest this year that I'm giving one to that is going to be exciting for me. And then the only way to get one is either I give you one or you go to the park and you win a class. That's it. There's no other way.
That's a perfect segue, Terry. Let's bring a couple of winners in, David. Let's bring in Jeremiah Davis and Devin Smith-Harden.
We're going to bring everybody in at once. That's something we haven't tried yet, so we can do that.
See what we can do. See if we can bring them in.
All right. It's kind of limited.
Hey,
that was good. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network.
Where's the Gussies? Where's your Gussies at, guys? Show them to the boys.
Mine's upstairs.
Oh man, I don't have mine.
I have a tattoo. Does that count?
Yeah, do you really?
Right there.
Really?
Yep.
That is impressive.
That's the park?
Yep.
Oh,
Holy
that's
cow.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, that is really cool. Yeah.
So we'll start with you, Jeremiah, then we'll go to Devin. Jeremiah, obviously, I remember, obviously I was busy last year, couldn't go, but I remember the picture of you coming across the line, your full fist out. Let's talk about what Quincy means. What did it mean to you to be able to get that victory last year?
Well, I hope the tattoo explains a little bit.
That's kind of there. Yeah.
So my dad raced was one part of the first group of 4 cycles that got to race in, I think, 1984. Terry, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But my uncle won that year, and my dad raced every year from then through 97. And I got to go a couple times as a kid, and it was just the coolest thing ever, right? My dad never did very well, but that was our racing trip for the year. And excuse me. And it was this mythical place because when I started racing as a kid, I only did dirt oval, and the park had kind of gone away. And I've raced dirt pretty much my whole life. And so I've always wanted to get to the park, And last year was my first year, and there's just nothing. You guys have explained it really well. As a racer, there's nothing like racing in front of a crowd. And the first day on that Saturday when I rolled down on the bottom of the hill and I looked to my left and I'm distracted from doing my job because there's people, waving their arms and waving their shirts around and stuff. It was just, there's nothing like it. It's no other track gives you the rush that one does. And when are you ever in the air in a go-kart?
Yeah.
Except Quincy.
On purpose.
Right.
On purpose. Yeah.
So I think the coolest photo anyone's ever taken of me was Mark Schweigen that took that picture of me that all 4 wheels in the air that the Margay folks posted right after I won Ignite Heavy. That's one of the coolest photos I ever have of me racing. There's nothing like it.
Well, I agree with you. I know that my first laps in the one practice I got to do, I just kept saying, "Oh my God," all the way around the racetrack. Oh my God! It was amazing. So I 100% understand where you're coming from. Devin, let's come to you. Interested to have Devin here right now. He was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway all day working for Arrow McLaren. Devin, you were off. You weren't even in the studio at this point. But Terry talked about the 96-mile-an-hour guy who is the fastest guy at the racetrack. That's going to be you, obviously. You have done extremely well in the shifter kart categories at Rock Island. Just give me your thoughts on the park. Let's just talk about the race itself, being able to drive a shifter around what is one of probably the most badass track in North America.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. Like, the only word that I could use to describe that place is badass and insane. Like, there's no track that I've been to, you know, racing in pretty much every class and every national organization, that you can hit 96 mile an hour in like 3 different spots. You're dodging brick walls, you're catching air, and you're seeing, like Jeremiah said, you're seeing, you know, a ton of fans with their shirts off, like shotgunning beers. Like, it's the craziest, most electric place I've ever raced at.
And you know what? And that's not something you can get anywhere else, right?
No.
Jeremiah, go.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna, when we, one of the other cool parts is I got to ride in the back of a truck around for a victory lap, right? And then got the, I don't know how your experience was, Devin. I know you got to do it a couple times, but when I was going down the hill, that same spot that I'd mentioned, I don't know if anybody's ever seen Varsity Blues, but when the 10, I had a couple guys do that because I'm number 10, and it was just, there's, to be able to experience that with the fans, and I got to sign autographs. I've never done that before.
That's amazing.
Coming into the scales, the couple little kids wanted to take pictures. You feel like a big deal, and as go-kart racers, we don't get to feel like a big deal all that often. Yeah. Well,
Devin, same kind of feeling. Obviously, you're in the shifter kart category. It's the fastest karts there. You've had tons of success, 3 wins last year. You feel the same way? Was it kind of like that highlight of being the superstar?
Oh yeah, dude. Like what Jeremiah was saying, like riding in the back of that truck was, you know, you can win Super Nats and not have the same kind of fan interaction that you do at Quincy. Like riding around in the back of that truck, with, you know, thousands of people screaming at you, asking for you to sign something. You know, I had, at the podium ceremony last year, I had grown men and women coming and asking for my signature. Like that's never happened to me before in my, you know, 15 years karting, and it's awesome. Like that's the only way I know how to describe it, is that it's the coolest thing ever.
Also, and what Devin didn't also mention, and I sent it to his dad, but on the Monday paper that came out, that handsome young man, Devin, was on the front page of the paper because he was the big winner, basically. You know, I won 2 classes and stuff. So,
yeah.
So he was on the front page of the newspaper.
Does it feel like mission accomplished, Terry, when you hear the drivers have that kind of answer to those questions?
What'd you say, Rob?
I said, does it feel like kind of mission accomplished when you hear the answers, the drivers, what they're saying?
No, when I hear what these guys are saying, it makes me feel like maybe all the work was worth it, you know. And so, you know, but we got guys like Keith that, you know, that he puts a substantial amount of money in it, and he's always promoting it through his websites and that kind of stuff. That's what it takes today, you know, is the Facebook stuff and the good recommendations from these fine drivers that you got here tonight, and saying, you know, dude, you got to come to this race. You know, you just got to go to this thing, you know.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's, so, you know, there's a limit probably to how far we can go. But at one time, Gus had over 600 entries when he was, the 25th anniversary, when he was, you know, we're giving $10,000 of prize money, but Gus raised and gave a purse in 1990. Let's see what it was. 1996, $25,000. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he raised $30,000 for the 30th anniversary. So, you know, he was a fundraising son of a gun. And like, it was one of those guys that when you walk in to see it, when he would walk in to see it, you just got your checkbook out and how much, yes, how much do you need?
Here's a question. Obviously, I can't be there this year. Cole can't be there this year. I know we both want to be there. Devin.
Yes.
How cheesed off are you because we have a conflict and you and I are both going to be at Road America that weekend?
Oh my goodness. Well, so even if I didn't have a conflict, my parents and everything, everyone at HMG is going to Utah that weekend.
Oh,
So
that's right.
like
Yep.
it's definitely unfortunate because like I said, Quincy comes with so many like other things other than just the race.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate that like I can't attend this year and defend, my wins and my track record and everything like that. So just really unfortunate for sure.
We definitely need to do something, David, to make sure it doesn't happen next year.
Yeah, when I'm in Utah, there'll be boots on the ground to try and help this alleviate for 2023.
Yeah.
But Devin, I kind of want to ask you a question, kind of as a driver itself, racing again, like you said, 96 miles an hour. How does racing at the Quincy differ from racing at a normal racetrack? Like, are you at 100% or are you dialing it down to say 96, 97% to try and give yourself just that little bit of edge, or are you just 100% all the way?
So basically like my strategy throughout the weekend, is that I kind of, played it a little safe in the beginning, and then just kind of slowly build pace, to the race because like you get on the track for the first time and it's like, it's ice basically. Like there's no grip anywhere.
Yep.
And, just cause the surface is so dusty, and then it slowly starts to clean off. And then by the time you put new tires on for the race, like it's game on. But even then, like I think in the practice before the race, I was running like 101s in practice, and then like during the race, you let it all hang out, and don't take all of the risks. And thankfully, it paid off for me last year.
Jeremiah, what would you say for you? What's the key to victory? What does it take to win there?
So I think in the 206 stuff, patience is king. I mean, it was my first year, so I similar to Devin. My first laps on the track, everybody was, going around because I just wanted to learn the racetrack, make sure I didn't end up in a barrier, which I did on Saturday. With the Ignite, I had to replace an axle before qualifying, but I just wanted to learn the racetrack. And when it came to the race on Sunday, I had qualified poorly and kind of tucked in behind another guy and was like, okay, I need to draft with him to catch the front guys. And we did that. And I've never been that patient in my life on a go-kart by far. And everything had to fall in place, and it did. I just took those opportunities, like Devin said. I took those opportunities when they presented themselves. But I feel like at the park, especially in the race, if you're not at 100%, if you're not committed to every corner, especially the jump, especially turn 7, if you're not committed, you're going to wreck. You're going to, or you're going to go backwards at bare minimum. Yeah. So you have to be willing to go there. And if you don't, that separates, especially in street racing, I feel like that separates guys who can win versus guys who are just there to compete, right? If you're not willing to commit, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
Keith, kind of what's your aspect as a team owner and a guy who fields a number of carts for a number of different drivers, especially for new people who have never raced there before, what's kind of the key element that you kind of put in their ear, be it starting Thursday or Friday before they even get to the racetrack? What is it that you're telling them about going to Quincy?
Don't go to the bars.
Wait. Unless they're
the older, wiser version here.
Okay.
No, just patience. Jeremiah hit on that, and you have to work up to it there. And there's a big name team owner on the East Coast now that used to race for us, and he showed up to Quincy on his first trip back in '94. And at the time, he was the big guy in the entire country. I mean, he was winning all the 4-cycle races. He was winning all the 2-cycle races. And I told him, I said, look, I mean, I know you're capable of doing this, and I get it, but just really take it easy. Don't go out and try to run with the Bird Cells and Traders and Scott Evans and Celegrins and all them. I said, sneak up on it. Don't try to run with those guys right away. Yeah. And he looked at me and yeah. Okay, no problem. Off he goes. And I watch him come by the start finish line the first time, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And sailed that thing down. He was chasing, again, like the Bird Cells Traders, Cassidy's, there's a big line of them, and he's tagged onto the end of it, and he's going for it on the first lap. And I'm like, oh man, hits the jump, never lifts, gets all crossed up over the jump, slams into the barriers, writes the go-kart off, brand new go-kart, brand new engine, brand new package, demolishes everything, breaks his ankle or something. I don't know. And he was done for the weekend. That was it. And I'm like, so listen to me when I tell you, patience, work up to it. And
that's it, right? For sure. 100%.
Yeah. It's such a fun track, and it's a real, I don't know what Jeremiah and Devin think, but it's a rhythm track, and once you're rolling and you get into the rhythm, man, I got goosebumps just thinking about it now. And I'm not even very good there. So once you get into that rhythm and you're flowing, I mean, it's just, the track flows, and it's almost easy to drive when you get into that mode. And it's so much fun. And Terry mentioned it earlier, but with the repave now, the place is so smooth. I don't know. It's just a ton of fun to drive. So
That's
enjoy
awesome.
every minute of it, but sneak up on it and use your head.
Yeah, so it's a bucket list race, like we said, folks. June 11th and 12th, www.quincygrandprix.com. Make sure I'm going to blast this out as we're talking here, just so you go check it out. If you haven't been to the race, get registered. This is one you want to cross off the bucket list for sure. Devin, you're not there this year, obviously, at Road America. Hopefully we can get rid of like the conflicts. Are we going to get you back? Is it like, have you got to go back? You have to defend, right?
Absolutely. Like I've had too much fun there, and I've had too much success to stop going. You know what I mean? Like that, and at my root, I'm a street racer. That's where I got my love for karting. And that's, like Quincy's one of those street races that like you can't just skip. It's like skipping Rock Island. Like, you don't do that. You know what I mean?
You don't do that.
Quincy,
Rob has, but
Quincy's become one of those races that you just, if you have that weekend off, like you have to go.
I love it. Let's go around the horn and kind of wrap things up. Devin, I know that you kind of wrap up. I just want to say best of luck in a couple of weeks, right? Because
yes, sir.
Dude, you're going over the wall.
Yep.
At the Indianapolis 500. What are you doing? Who you working with? Whose car are you on? And what are you doing with them?
So I'm on the 7 car, which is Felix Rosenquist, and I am a rear end mechanic and inside rear tire changer for their pit crew.
That is awesome. I think it's fantastic, man. I wish I was there to see you. It'll be great. Thanks for coming and
Where do
joining
you
us.
start, Devin? Where do you start?
Well, qualifying is this weekend.
This weekend.
Okay.
So I'm not. We've been fast all week leading up to this point. Top 8 most sessions. So we'll see where it leads, but we're looking to drink milk on the 29th, man.
That's it. Cool.
Who's a better shifter cart driver, you or Pato?
Me.
Oh, all right, there we go.
Challenge.
He's won Super Nationals. That's why I asked. He's won Super Nationals.
And that's 5.
Yeah, we've had a lot of IndyCar drivers come and drive for HMG, and
you have. That's right. Yeah.
They're we'll just say they're not.
They're upper body strong.
Well, no, they're crazy strong because those cars are so hard to drive. But it's just the dynamics are so different from an IndyCar to a go-kart. Like, it's just hard for them to get used to.
Yep.
Right on. Jeremiah, let's go to you. You got 1 Gussie. How about 2?
Well, I'm running 4 classes this year, so how about 5?
How about 5?
5. What's the record for wins in a year? I'm chasing that. No, honestly, I love the Ignite program. I told Keith this last year. I wanted to mention this after we won Ignite Heavy. I would not have made it to the park. I would not, be in sprint racing if it wasn't for the Ignite program. I was a dirt racer and would have really committed to that and wanted to run the park and thought the easiest way to do that was the Ignite. And turns out it was a fortuitous decision for me. And I'm also very grateful that they added the Ignite Heavy class because I'm not skinny anymore. and that 360 weight is difficult for guys like tall and bigger to get down to. So I'm still going to attempt it. I'm still going to run Ignite Senior this year because I think once you get I can't wait to get there. I'm running, the 4 major Briggs classes and see what we can do. See what we can add to the collection.
Dude, that's awesome. I love it. Keith, back for another day. Back in the day, it was you with the Margay team, right? Your drivers battling up against all the other manufacturers, whatever it may be. And you'll do that in some of the other categories for some drivers. But the Ignite program, as Jeremiah said, it's been such a huge thing for the sport. I'm a huge fan of it. As you know, I've raced with you guys many times. Mm-hmm. It's really done a ton, I think, to allow people to come into the sport, lowering that barrier of entry. But it's also, and as Terry has already said, it's been a huge part of the resurgence, the rebirth of the Quincy Grand Prix. As a guy who's been there for so many years, just give us a couple of words on what it means for the Ignite, the Margay name, be so connected with the race now.
Well, we're just really proud to be associated with such a class event. Again, Terry, the city, the entire Trader family, they put their heart and soul into this event for the karters, and for us to be a part of it. We consider ourselves very fortunate. And then to hear Jeremiah's words, where he says, hey, man, I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for Ignite, and I've heard that from a lot of people, a lot of older karters that had maybe gotten out of the sport that have come back and have run the Ignite program because it's easy. And it's just an amazing event. And what I would say to everybody listening is come race the park. Do it with us. Don't do it with us. Whatever you do, just come race the park. You will not be disappointed. QuincyGrandPrix.com. Go there, check it out. Sign up for some classes. Call us here at Margay. We'll help you come run with us if you want. And if you don't want to run with us, we'll point you in the right direction to run with the people that you do run with there. It's just an awesome event. You won't be disappointed. Come join us.
And it's ignitekarting.com, right? The website for
the
Ignite program?
IgniteKarting.com, yes.
IgniteKarting.com. Terry Trader, we've done this before with you, and it's normally just been the three of us kind of chatting back and forth, but I think it's kind of cool to bring Devin and Jeremiah and Keith in, give you a little taste of some of, the experience that you're providing to these people.
Really great. You guys did a beautiful job. I appreciate everything eKarting News does, and you guys are, of course, the leading information place for all the karting, and you've done a beautiful job in building that up. And someday we hope you're at the park and we can, expand it further. And as long as we can continue to have the support of our sponsors and people that help us put the race on and put it together, then we'll be able to do it. I mean, I can't do it myself. I don't go out and lay one barrier or one hay bale. I got the Miles family that does that. Then I got another group of volunteers that do the Gus tent. And we do pay a lot of people for a lot of stuff, putting the fence up and that kind of stuff. And we also have involved the local Catholic high school, the football team that is a very good football team. And they come out and help us put the barriers and the hay bales down. They clean up the park for us after the race is over. And then the Grand Prix makes a nice donation to them for helping them. And they also do all the parking for people around. We donate golf cars for them to use. And then anybody that comes near the park, we've got they've got roads closed off. So we got the police chief involved. And like I said, it's a community deal. And everybody looks forward to it. And for years and years, they've talked about, boy, I wish my kids could see this. I used to watch it when I was a kid. Well, now they can. And, it's still growing and people are still excited about it. And my goal is to hope to expand the thing to more communities that can come to Quincy and experience this thing. The St. Louis, the Peoria, the Bloomingtons, those kind of things that are close enough to drive in and see this great event. So we're hoping to, expand through Facebook or whatever, or your site to tell people to come and watch this event. It's free. Just get to the town. So
have some fun, enjoy it. Now, obviously, we've been doing what we could to try to promote the race. We're going to change that now. We're going to do what we can to try to make sure there's no conflict. That is our new goal. Like, you guys are promoting it well. We need to make sure there's no.
Let's start with IndyCar at Road America and see if we can get them to back that date up.
I'll talk to the guys at Road America and have a talk with Mark Miles, see if we can't get that date changed. Road America is usually later in the month. It's not normally that early in June.
Yeah, correct. And one thing I do want to mention also, we're talking about IndyCar racing. last year's honorary grand marshal at Quincy was this guy named Allenser Jr. that you may have heard of. And he was terrific. He was just, talk about class again, absolute first class ambassador for the sport. Talked to everybody that walked up to him. We had a 2-time Indy 500 winner there hanging out with all the karters, talking with all the fans. Just terrific. And the only guy that can pull something like that off is Terry. So
Terry Trader. That's it. Thanks, 100%.
Really
all right, folks.
We'll keep working on it, guys. And thank you for all your help. And thank you for the drivers for coming. And Keith, of course, thank you for all your help. And Ignite probably has saved karting, at least in the Quincy area. So it was a great idea, and he followed through with it. So let's just keep growing it and keep having great races.
Awesome. The Quincy Grand Prix, June 11th and 12th, quincygrandprix.com. David, you guys drop these guys down. Guys, hang out in the studio so they can say goodbye before we wrap things up. David now put a cap on this show. David, this sport is all about people having a good time, right? You and I talk about having fun, grassroots racing, but it's also about, having that history. And I think that's one of the cool things. A lot of people that are new to the sport don't know about the amazing history we have. And really with Rock Island, and even more so, 100% more so with Quincy, this is the history of our sport that continues to being made, right? That's what I love about the fact that it came back, because it's such an amazing race. Devin and Jeremiah talk about how amazing the racetrack is. This race really puts together everything you need for an iconic event for our sport.
Yeah, Devin said it. He put it above the Super Nationals. I mean, again, you don't have the fans at the Super Nationals asking for autographs or cheering. Again, think about that. Like, I played basketball in high school, so you had the crowd, or you played football in high school, you have the crowd there. You get that experience. In karting, we don't get that. And in Quincy, you get that. And that, again, you have community, you have history. Again, it's just a combination of a lot of things coming together and making a good thing out of it.
Yeah, it's a bucket list race, and once you go, you're probably going to go back more and more, folks. I hope you do so. Again, June 11th and 12th, both David and I hoping one day we don't have a conflict so we can get there. I want to get back onto that racetrack 25 years later. I'm looking forward to beating Cole there too, right? Because I beat him everywhere else we are. I might as well beat him at Quincy as well. So it'll just be another one of your horrible defeats, David.
All right. Thanks for that boost of motivation right there.
Folks, again, the Quincy Grand Prix, a race you really want to go to. Thanks to Terry, everybody for joining us here. Again, June 11th and 12th, quincygrandprix.com. On behalf of everybody who's on the show tonight and my friend David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.